Hi, Mandy. Thank you for joining me today. We're coming together 9 months after your M.O.V.E journey and M.O.V.E experience. So M.O.V.E being a self-discovery and transformational program. So first of all, I'll get you to perhaps introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me today. And my name's Mandy. I am a fellow traveller of life, just, trying to do my best.
Yeah.
I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I'm someone who lives with pain, which is a big part of sort of my personal experience, someone who's curious about life and how I experience it, which is what led me to find you and your wonderful M.O.V.E course.
I guess the first question would be, what sort of made you join M.O.V.E? Yeah, what was, I guess, the deciding factor to commit to yourself, and the group, and invest in yourself?
So as I mentioned, got a long history of living with chronic pain. I was kind of flailing around a little bit and feeling a bit lost, and I knew that I kind of needed something. I just didn't really know what. And then you happened to be starting this new M.O.V.E program and reached out to me at exactly the same time, and it was just like, it was clearly a sign for me that this was something to look into, which I did. Did my research about you and about the program, and I really loved a lot of the aspects of it. Obviously, I was a little bit nervous, didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I knew that by committing to such a length of time, I felt like I had that opportunity to really undergo some change. And the meeting 3 times a week I knew would be good, particularly in lockdown, just have a reason to get out and go for a walk. So I suppose in terms of deciding to make the investment in me, I just saw the huge potential there for learning and growth and connection, which was things that I desperately needed at the time. I knew that it was going to be the kind of program where you're going to have to do lots of sharing and really dig in.
And as you know, with the other women, it's just to have that vibrational energy where we can, a safe space. That's exactly it. Where you can connect. And like you said, connection, exactly what you need. And we all need it. But well done for taking that step. The aspects perhaps that stood out to you were really profound in the course, because I know you've done a lot of self-learning or self-discovery before, and a lot of research and courses and things with your chronic pain. I guess, those that stood out for M.O.V.E, that made it a little bit different to what you've done before, perhaps.
Yeah, well, like I said, obviously the timing and having such a real deep exploration of these topics. It wasn't just like a one-off, here's something about emotions and good luck with that, to actually really dig into those topics in such a detailed way. It's difficult to sort of pinpoint one thing. There was so much on the course that was valuable. Like I said, community. So we were very fortunate to just have this awesome bunch of women supporting each other, sharing and being vulnerable, celebrating each other in such a lovely way. So we really lucked out with the group that we had. And like I said at the start, that whole human to human thing, someone would share something and we would all collectively just go, I get it. I get what you're saying. We had so many common experiences and we were able to support each other in such a beautiful way. So that group was really, really strong and really helpful. We had a lovely little group chat going, so you could always just jump in there and share something, big, small, whatever. We all just really were able to find that beautiful connection in that space. What else about the program? I kind of knew that it was going to be really sort of digging into emotional stuff, and one of the big things was actually doing that and really exploring it. Like you said, I've done some other stuff, but we've never really gotten as deep, I suppose, as we did in the M.O.V.E program, being able to really unpack some of the sort of old programming, default kind of patterns that I operate on, being able to really explore the reasons behind some of my behaviors and some of my emotions, So there was some amazing insights that were able to be gained there. I really loved the quote we often use, which was feel to heal. So you actually had to really dig into that stuff to get the benefits of some hopeful healing, because it's really that deep underlying stuff that is able to be accessed for like increased growth and healing. So yeah, having the space to do that, but also the encouragement and information and the way it was provided was really helpful to dig into some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Lean into it, I should say.
Lean into it, yes.
One of the other great things that I found was just the demonstration and inspiration from you with regards to language. So that was a really big learning for me around, you know, saying what it is you want and not what you don't want, because even by saying I don't want pain, you're still focusing on the actual pain. So it's yeah, so flipping some of the language and the way I sort of looked at things was really helpful. Really early on we did work on values, and I thought that I knew what my values were and I didn't know what my values were. So that was super helpful, especially early on in the program, so that I could keep referring back to them and using them as a bit of a guidepost as to whether, you know, what I was doing or what I was trying to achieve was in line with my values. I think that's been really helpful for me in terms of then pursuing like a deeper purpose. So finding out that ease and presence was kind of a huge, and patience were huge values for me. It enabled me to really embed the fact that mindfulness is a practice that I know is the key to my ongoing well-being, and therefore has led to, you know, during the course even, I signed up to undertake a teacher training in mindfulness. You could say that the M.O.V.E program and the unpicking of those values was the impetus to me doing a bit of a career change. So,
I love hearing that. I didn't, just the association from values to purpose. Like, yeah, I love it. You know, I've just learned something today. I love it. I don't think I've ever had anyone say that. The way you've sort of just unraveled it now is like, yeah, you found out what was important to you, your values, and that led to you then to your purpose and to now what you're stepping into. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
And just the feeling of comfort and alignment means that I can, you know, move towards that purpose with such sort of greater intensity, because I know that by doing this work, I'll continue to feel better. So it's like a double benefit of working in a role that you know is personally going to be useful to you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's probably, I could go on probably, you know, forever as well. There was like so many just little bits and pieces of aha moments that have led to other things that, it's just been really great. And I think
you walked a lot, didn't you? You walked a lot. Yeah, so
I did walk a really lot.
Yes,
and that's
you measured your kilometers and how much you walked. Yeah, so that was amazing too.
And I tried to bring in the variety as well by walking somewhere different every time. I tried not to just retrace the same steps 3 times a week. So I went on lots of different adventures around my local neighborhood within my 5Ks. I can't remember if we were under those kind of restrictions at the time, but
we were at the beginning. We were in lockdown. And I love that combination where you can then, you know, as part of M.O.V.E, to explain it for those that don't know, that the sessions we did where I was facilitating and you guys were engaging as well, it wasn't just me, but you know, you'd all come on when there was something to talk about or something resonated or there's something to feel. And that was all done in your own environment. So yeah, you do your local, the other ladies wherever they were living, and we all just came together via Zoom to then actually move as, hence the name, move as you're learning and connect with nature. I know that you could see those backgrounds every time, where different places for you, getting out, connecting with nature.
And that was also a big part of the learning around aligning purpose and my values, because being in nature is something that is a really grounding and mindful experience for me. So the number of times during M.O.V.E that I just sort of stopped and picked up a rock or looked at a flower, or, you know, I took lots of photos on those walks as well, because I was just like really in the moment and experiencing the nature as well as the learning and the connection. So it was, yeah, they were very enriching. Yeah. And it did get me fired up as well. Like, I think during the move, I committed to doing the 30K walk with my friends. So I don't know that I would have had the kind of guts to maybe commit to doing such a big training program, maybe without that regular, you know, walking through the M.O.V.E program.
Well, thank you for sharing all those aspects, and that leads into perhaps your biggest breakthrough.
It is really hard to pinpoint like only a couple, because I felt like there was quite a few. One that I keep kind of coming back to was a realization that I suppose it's kind of a couple, but like realizing that with my chronic pain, that is not actually my fault, and that for very many years, I think that was always underlying a lot of my reactions and emotions towards my pain, was actually thinking that it was my fault.
Yes.
Thinking that I was broken, digging into some things that have happened in childhood that might have potentially given me that limiting self-belief.
Yeah.
So unpacking that obviously was a big breakthrough, but then what do you do with it? And so I think through the rest of the program, there was I think you can remember, I had a big thing about like kind of just lingering in the moment of good times, and also taking on a lot more sort of ease and self-compassion. So because they became such big themes, I was able to tell myself I'm not broken and I am actually worthy, and all of these things that have helped shape just my ongoing experience, I suppose, of life. I don't think I would have kind of put all of those bits and pieces together without some of that work that we did together. So
yeah. You're welcome. I do remember a lot of breakthroughs, and in the one-on-ones where we go a bit deeper to get to the programming that's perhaps enabled you to or be in a program that's perhaps not resourceful, it's those, I guess, putting those pieces together of the puzzle, like you said.
Yeah, I actually in my journal have got something that I reflected about pieces of the puzzle. Like you think you know yourself, and then you dig a little bit deeper and you find this other piece and you're like, oh, well, okay, that actually expands my perspective a lot more and gives me more options. The opportunity to practice and cultivate self-compassion has been really huge, because that helps to deal with when that programming comes up, because it doesn't just magically go away. It's still there a little bit. But when it does happen, I can be a lot more aware of it and act in more self-compassionate ways.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing that word self-compassion, because it's something that we're too often we beat ourselves up. Just that inner critic, the ego is just there. Yeah. And when anyone can step into self-compassion, that just changes everything, changes our whole energy and the way we view ourselves, our relationship with ourselves. Yeah. And discovering, like you said, that discovering, you thought you knew yourself, but there's something else to me. And it's beautiful when we can then discover those beautiful parts of ourselves that perhaps have been hidden, perhaps have been under the layers of emotion or unresourceful beliefs and programming. And you've certainly done that throughout M.O.V.E.
Well, that's been part of the beauty as well. Like we are all on it. We were all on it together, and just your willingness to also share and be vulnerable. It wasn't like you were the big boss up on, although we did also refer to you as that, as our esteemed leader, but we were a group, all of us, on even ground, and that was
and I love that. That's exactly the environment that I wanted to show up as, and for you guys to show up as, to enable safety. There's no one better, there's no one that's less than. We're just on this even space where everything can be shared. You can be whoever you need to be to discover. That's exactly self-expression, to really discover what there is within us. So much beauty, so much beauty.
And sometimes it was just about like, we were kind of just like babbling it out to sort of talk through it. And then you would, through that process, go, oh, I've just realized something. And and everyone would get really excited because you could just, there was just a, energy when something really clicked for someone. And there were so many of those. And another great aspect of the program was the celebration of wins. And some weeks people would think that they didn't have a win, but then they'd just sort of share something and we were all like, oh my God, that's a win. What are you talking about? So just, highlighting those, even the tiniest things, can be shifts. It doesn't need to be all big, huge, momentous things. Just sometimes realizing that you needed to stop and make yourself a cup of tea, like that's a win,
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, the wins, because that was a big part of everyone's transformation, to step into those new programs, those new ways of being and celebrating them, so that they, bring in that pride, feeling of pride that gives you then that more motivation to do more of it, to show up as that person, to beat the inner critic, to leave the ego aside, which, after years of programming, as you know, and I know as well, I'm on the journey of that, making sure I stick to that authentic self and that inner essence of who we all are. So I love that you mentioned that, the celebrating of wins, and it was a celebration of self and a celebration of everyone, because everyone got to share and celebrate the others at the same time, which was beautiful aspect too. Any more breakthroughs?
Well, I suppose in just like reflecting as I've been talking, I think that some of it has been just the process of leaning into these kind of work has enabled further breakthroughs after the program as well. Like even just recently, I was on a meditation retreat and had this like massive breakthrough about my little inner critic voice thing, and was able to befriend it a little bit more, and those kind of just being open to those experiences, and being willing to get close to discomfort so that you can get to know yourself a little bit more and offer yourself even more compassion if needed. I think just it's some of the techniques that I've taken through the program and into ongoing development, because you never stop growing and never stop learning. It's always happening.
Lifelong learners. It's so beautiful to hear that you're once M.O.V.E's finished, that you're still leaning into these, I guess, the seeds that you've planted in M.O.V.E, that you're tending to them, and even more and more and more, so you're flourishing and blooming into being that best self, I guess. And that's what we all want to be here, to be our best selves, to show up with compassion, with love, with kindness, with understanding, acceptance, all these beautiful things. Love, lots of love. I love hearing all this.
Well, I think that's good to know that we're all still connecting and still reaching out to each other, and these bonds that we formed during M.O.V.E are enduring. And like I said, I think a lot of that's down to you, Anna. So thanks for facilitating the group to come together and learning to happen.
Yes, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure. And thank you for your compliment. Remember, we need to take those in. I remember that in one of our one-on-ones. I'm like, Mandy, you need to bring that into your heart. So I'm taking it in now. I'm just going to linger a little, okay? I learned that from you. I learned a lot from you, okay? That is, you inspire me, all the other ladies as well. There was so much inspiration from everyone. And that's a beautiful word, because it brings us in spirit. Where anything's possible. Next question. So I guess if for someone that wants to, or is deciding, is not quite sure about joining M.O.V.E and joining the program and the community, what would you say? What would you tell them?
Having participated in M.O.V.E, I've had these shifts. They have been shifts that have changed the direction of my career. They've changed the relationship that I have with other people, particularly myself. Maybe there's the main one. If that's something that you feel you could benefit from, then why not give it a try? Like it's there's all of this opportunity out there through this program for you to learn and grow and change if you're willing to give it a try. I think if you don't try something new, you just keep getting the same stuff, right? So why not? Why not change? Try something different and see how that goes. All I can do is say how beneficial it's been for me, and encourage people to give it a try.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you brought it back to you, that your experience and how it's helped you. Because others, I guess, perhaps they need to hear exactly that. What you've shared. And go, oh yeah, it sounds like me. It sounds like what I need. Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, there's so much similarity between us all, isn't there? Like I was saying, like we're all humans. We all experience these same things. We all sort of suffer in similar ways. So I'm sure that if I've been able to find these kind of, big shifts and, learnings, then I'm sure other people can as well.
Yeah, that's beautifully said.
And you're not alone was a big one. We're all sharing these things and we're like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that thinks this way, or, just to build that kind of community around you was really.
Yeah.
So
and I guess your overall experience, if you were to sum it up a little, your overall experience with M.O.V.E and the program and the community, what would that be?
I think it gave me the space, the information, the support, the connection to get closer to myself and closer to others.
Yeah.
Just it gave me the space to get to know myself more, and in ways that have improved my experience.
Yeah. The more you can get to know yourself, get to love yourself, give yourself compassion, you're more likely to have that in other relationships and connect with other people on a deeper level. Which is,
and I think all the other learnings that I've done prior to this, they were all very cognitive. They were all very like learning, brain focused. Like M.O.V.E program is very heart centered. It's very person centered. So it's actually connecting back into your heart, into your body, to understand the things that you've been taught, but on a totally different level. So I think out of the head and into the heart was a big one for the program.
That is a beautiful summary.
Okay, she said that first.
the embodiment. It's so true. The integration.
Integration, yes, love that word.
Yes, I love that you said that, because that's exactly was my mission or my focus for M.O.V.E was that integration, because we all know a lot. Everyone comes to me, but Anna, I know that. I'm like, I get that you know it up here, but do you know it in here? And are you doing it in your body? Okay, so that is a beautiful wrap or summary of M.O.V.E and your experience with M.O.V.E. And where to next? I want to know about Mandy. What's coming up for you?
Well, I'm very, very excited to share that in our workshop that we did at the end, where we had our vision board and everything. By that time, I was already started my journey towards learning to teach mindfulness meditation. And so I had on my vision board that I wanted to start my first course in 2023, and I have booked a course beginning in May. So I'm very excited to be sort of stepping into this new space, and can't wait to kind of work with other people and share that kind of common humanity, and just be present with other people, and very excited. So that's probably a big focus for next year.
Living into your purpose, embodying your purpose. And we will write in the notes below how to find you.
I think it's a great step forward for me, because a big part of teaching mindfulness is embodiment, and it is about me continuing to practice the values of patience and presence, and I'm really excited to step forward into that space.
So excited for you, and I love that it was on your vision board, and now you're actually it's happening.
That's very cool.
Very, very cool. Oh, thank you so much for being here today and connecting again. And yeah, it's so beautiful to hear everything that you've shared today, your experience and where you're headed now. I'm just so excited for you to have been on your journey. You'd have been on mine because, as I said, I've learned so much from you. I've been blessed to have you, to cross paths with you, but our paths are still going together, which is great. I wish you all the best in your living into your purpose and embodying and helping others to get into that presence, that state of presence and patience. So important. Yeah. So sending lots of love.
Yeah, that was our big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did lots of these, didn't we?
We did lots of them. Yeah, because we wanted to share how much we feel that on a deep level when people share their vulnerability, when they're vulnerable, and we just loved the connection from M.O.V.E. And thank you, Anna, for the opportunity to talk about it and reflect again. And
it's been great.
Remember all of these great things that we've learned through the journey.
Thank you, lovely. Thank you, lovely Mandy. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Anna.
All righty. Take care. See ya.